Hello, this is Anush, and this year I'm getting a little of my hands dirty with the coloring of the eggs. A couple of years ago, I decided to color an egg the shape of a TARDIS, and I used regular markers and so on. Obviously, because it goes through the shell, we couldn't eat the egg. This year I decided I'm going to go ahead and color some eggs using just regular colors and then using some nail polish on top of it. So I'm just having some fun with this stuff. That just what anybody can do. We decided to color the egg red, to a red color egg, and this is not finished yet, of course, but we decided to go with Deadpool. My older son Victor, he really likes Deadpool, so I'm making this one for him. Using black nail polish, I'm going to use some whiteout on top of this to get the eyes in. And I'm going to be doing a number of different ones. I'm going to do a series of smaller, shorter videos. I'm going to put them all together. These nail colors, tray of nail colors that you see here is courtesy of my wife. Kind enough to let me use them to do these colors on these eggs, and we'll see how they turn out. I'll gonna have to kind of mix and match and put these short videos clips together to make a cohesive piece, but nonetheless I hope you enjoy them. And I'm gonna show you what I'm doing with this one. This one I basically did an outline. This is I started with a white egg. I'm going to start coloring the bottom part. This is going to eventually, hopefully, end up being Commander Data of the Enterprise. So hopefully this will come out right if I can manage to get all the outlines correctly. See how it turns out. This is the second one I'm doing. The first one was the Deadpool. As I go forward, I'll do different pieces. So just hang in there, and hopefully you're going to see some really nice pieces coming together. So I managed to color, well, Data's uniform. You can see I actually get the black and the yellow color in there. Now this is a little more gold, but I wanted to get that kind of the mustard color, if you will, in there to get the right color in. So we got that done. Now do a little bit of touch up. It's something can get a little tricky if you're not careful with it, because you can really mess things up when you're coloring over the edges here, right around this area, right on the line. Mind you, it doesn't have to be perfect, but now to get these dried up, get pieces of cardboard like this, anything that's like a thick paper, you can cut it, make a little loop. I kind of measured what this egg, most of these eggs are. It's about 40 millimeters in diameter, so the radius was about 20 millimeters, and you can just calculate the circumference of it there, and then kind of build it like that. Let's sit there and dry. These being nail polish, is going to take a while for it to dry, so we're going to let that sit there and do that, and we can move on to the next one. Now, like I said, it's going to be in little pieces we're going to put together, so we're going to do another egg, and then I'll come back to it. Now the next egg I'm going to do, actually I already outlined it. I don't know if you're familiar with Adult Swim on Cartoon Network. There's a character in there on called Bender. So I kind of outlined his face. We're going to be using silver and black on this one. I'm not sure how I'm going to put the antenna on yet. I think may have to figure something out with that one when I get to it. I may use like a silver push pin. I don't know, maybe something like that. Clean the needle part of it, sterilize it, then stick it in the egg later. So we'll see. Let's see how this one turns out. Here's the face. As you can see it. We'll go on to the next stage. I think I'm going to use a lighter color silver. There's a couple of different silver colors here. I think maybe I'll use one of the lighter ones. This may be appropriate, kind of glittery like a metallic one. There's this one here. can use this one here, I think. We'll see how it turns out. Until the next piece. So I colored half of Bender's head, and as you can see in here, it's kind of upside down right now. I'm gonna have to let this half get dried up before I can go ahead and color the rest. Now, when I finish the other side, then I'll let you know, and then we can see probably the whole thing. We're gonna have to do these in bits and pieces. Let's go back and forth, and at the end, we're gonna show the whole thing. So, wait up for the next segment. Okay, so now I colored the rest of the head. The only area that's left that needs to be painted is we have to put a black line right up top here and be able to color the black outline around here, and all these other outlines have to be done. Then we have to do the silver again right in here inside the white area, right in here. So what I may do is just go ahead and do the outline in black first, let it dry, and then do the rest, and then go on work on the mouth, because everything else is pretty much, the back of it is already done. Here, coming to data, managed to get the eyes done. The little 3 commander's dots on the lapel, the bottom is dry, so next I'm going to go ahead and do the hair. So let's see, and get the hairline, all outlines drawn, so all we have to do is just go ahead and paint that up. Okay, let's see. I wanted to be doing this and let you see it, but it seems like it's going to take a while, and I'm just going to use a brush like this, a thin brush, instead of using what comes with it, so that you'll have better control over it. So I'm going to pause this now, go color that, and then come back and show you the outcome. Okay, so data is complete. Did his eyes, his mouth, his hair, put the pips on his collar, and here's the back of the head. All we have to add on now is the communicator on the front lapel, and that'll be done. Okay, so here's another egg. I'm going to start to color. I drew the lines, sketched out the lines where the different colors are going to go. It's all going to be red down here, then black, and the top I'm going to actually first use a different nail color, which is going to be kind of beige, and then we're going to put the eyes and the mouth in there. This, what you see here, is going to be Captain Picard. So it's not going to have a lot. He's bald, doesn't have much hair, so that's what we're going to go with. So this is where we're going to start. So while Picard's uniform is getting dried, and I'll show you that in just a second, this is decided to pick up a yellow egg and turn it into Pikachu. So hopefully this is going to come out good. I think the eyes need to be redone, but I'll fix it as I'm going to go ahead and paint it. Okay, so the uniform part of Picard is almost done. We have to add the pips and the communicator, and then we also have to cover the top part, which is basically his body, head, if you want to call it, whatever. We have to wait for this to dry before we can get to that. While we wait for that, I'm going to show you Pikachu, which is almost finished. Here we go. All we're waiting is for the eyes to dry up a little bit so we can add the little white dots in there for the pupils, if you will. Ideally, the color should be kind of a little bit more kind of a lighter yellow, and also not have all the blotches on it, but we had a yellow one here, so I just basically picked that up and used that. Waiting for the eyes to dry so we can add the white dots, and here are the ears. Okay, So Pikachu is done. The eyes are done. Everything is done. This one's ready to go. And I have to build little stands for each one of these things. The stands that I currently have are a little too large for display purposes. And Bender is ready to go. Here's Bender. And for his antenna, I ended up using a push pin, which I basically cleaned the tip, burned it, using just flame, just completely sterilized it, and then cleaned it, and then put it in here. So, and then colored it with silver nail polish, as you can see here. So it kind of blends in. Yeah, it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. And Picard is in the process of getting done. I may do a couple more, depending on how things go, and then we'll go from there. And this one is ready to go too. Well, I'll show you the next ones as we progress. Okay, here's the finally we got Picard ready. I was planning on actually coloring the head part kind of skin color, but nothing that I had would really match. One was a little too pink, the other one was too brown, and just didn't work out, so we just left it as white. He got his pips, he got his communicator, and he's got his ears, and I think that's going to have to do for the moment on Picard. And so I figured we have a Pokemon. We have to have a Pokeball, so went with just the white and the red and the black, and got ourselves a little Pokeball here. It's not perfect, but it'll do. So it is a little late. I'm going to stop for the moment and then come back to this maybe tomorrow if time allows, and do a few more. We'll see how that turns out. But for the moment, we got 1, 2, I think we got 2 and 3, 5, 7 custom eggs here, which look pretty decent. And I'll put them all in order on the next frame.